$267 or $232,000, whereas in January it's $153,000. You'll also be able to see at a glance as to his pie as to what it does. Most of it's for sponsorships. We're going to talk about sponsorships this week. A lot of people don't have sponsors. Why don't you have sponsors? You don't have sponsors because you don't know how to put together a package, or you don't know who to present the sponsor to, or you don't know how to create the value for sponsors. But you can see that's a huge part of his revenue stream. Also, online courses. We'll talk about being able to create products, programs, and services, an online course that you can just make once, again, hibernate that weekend or that week, whatever it takes to do the course, and then put it up and sell it over and over again. Affiliate, we're going to talk about affiliates, the value of affiliates. That's so easy. You go to the affiliate sites and you click affiliate that you want, and you take that link and you put it on your podcast or your videos or your social medias or your emails or whatever it is, and you get paid. And then also journals, products. We're going to talk about products, programs, and services. A product could be a journal, it could be a book. So, how he's been able to take those different things, and that just gives you a quick view. I'm going to let you dive in this on your own, but let's just look at a full report just to really get an idea. And again, this is so fascinating. If you have nothing else better to do, I'd really find value in reading this. He talks about his expenses, what his net profit was, the difference between one month and the other, and the overall gross revenue, and why he publishes the income report. He has his accountant, gives you tax tips, Josh, and he also has his attorney, gives you information for it as well. And then he'll go all the way down, and many times he'll do a breakdown, total breakdown on what went down in April and what happened and what didn't happen. And then he'll go the biggest question for the affiliates. Here's the breakdown. So his journals, we talked about journal. How difficult is to get a journal created? It's not very difficult at all. You go to a white label, you Google white label companies that have journals, that have all kinds of things that you can actually be able to sell as a product, whatever is appropriate for your industry. Sold some on Amazon, so his total 3,022.27 a month. That's another thing. Once that's done, we talked about printing, becoming an author. Once you get that done, whether it's a journal or a book or whatever, then it's done. And so you just keep selling it and selling it. This is another journal he has. He started with one journal, now he got two journals. This one, and then he's got this one. So then he's got a community, memberships. We're going to talk about how to create your own membership community. We're going to talk about how to create your own mastermind communities, because that in itself gave him $26,000 that month. And he had 29 new members and 152 members. That's reoccurring revenue that you want to create through those programs, memberships, masterminds, things of that type. This was the new members. That must be his mastermind. Here's his mastermind. That's 82. Oh, whoops. That's his mastermind. Then his podcast sponsorships was $82,000. That's a lot for companies that you promote. Doing your calls when you're doing your podcast. Thank you so much for our this. So we want to thank our partners. This you incorporate it in your word. You incorporate it in your promotions. You incorporate it in your everything, in all of your content that you share, to giving these different sponsors the visibility. And this is a launch. He launched the audio book and he launched the ebook. Free courses. Now we have to give that content for free. You remember I mentioned you had to give like a report or 10 tips or something you give away for free to get a lead, get the leads in. Once you have the leads and the people in your database, you're able to promote to them. So you do that. So these are the things that he did to generate or to contribute, that he gave that a free course. The free courses are right here on his website. So you come here, you sign up for his free course, you do it once, and you have something that you can offer for free. And that contributes to the revenue. Affiliates, we're going to learn how to get affiliates. Remember, I just said you just get a link, you sign up for these services, you get a link, you put it everywhere, and you get money for it. So it's $23,000 he made from that. And some of his affiliates are like Audible, Bluehost, ClickFunnels. So sometimes, again, it's not even just the things that
What do
this
you want?
business,
You just want to make me uncomfortable?
and anyone feels free to mute themselves, that would be awesome. These are courses. So, for example, he sold a course for Tony Robbins. That's $119,000. So, if you're going to an event, you're coming to this event, the Power 7 Summit, and we invited everyone to be an affiliate. And if anyone decided to sign for our programs, you can get up to $1,000 per person. So some people made thousands of dollars the last event that we had. So that's what you do as an affiliate. You promote other events. You're going to be there anyway. It's a great way to be able to share with your community what you're doing, what you're up to be able to connect with them. A lot of times you can't just keep reaching out to them saying bye, 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 bye. For me, why not gift them an opportunity where they could learn something themselves and be able to see you again? And this kind of ignites that interest. Like, oh yeah, I meant to be meaning to call her. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to reach out to him. So he promoted that, and that's $119,000. This is an online course he promoted. It's not by him. Again, these are not even his things. This is Rick's program. This is Amy's program. This is Tony's program. So it doesn't have to be your stuff all the time. A lot of us keep thinking, I got to have more stuff. No, some people just promote other people's things, and they make great dollars from just doing that. So these are different resources from podcasts for podcasters. So, Processing Press, Designer, different things that he uses from that. And this is what he's got from that. And other resources, Amazon and some other. So his total was this and his expenses are this. So again, I'm just showing this so you can go in and look deeper. But sometimes people say it's impossible. It's not impossible. You're in the right place because this week we're going to talk about all the different things that he's doing. And then he's going to come on and he's also going to tell you all the things that he's doing, explain it even deeper to how he's generating that kind of revenue. So who would be okay with over $200,000 a month? Even if it's $100,000 a month, who could live with that for doing a podcast? Anybody? See, I can't see the hands. So I'm hoping that there's hands. Everyone's hands should be up there. Everyone's hands should be up there. Is everyone's hands up there? Yes. Is everybody's hands up there? Yes, you should be. I can live with that. All right, so ideas for podcasts, the same thing. Okay, this is another, this is give you another ideas. This is Patreon. Very easy. Patreon is a site that's primarily for podcasters, but they have people that do videos, they have people that are authors, they have people that do everything. Another example, this person has a membership, which we're going to learn how to create membership programs. And his membership program is only $470 or $5. So you think $5, okay, how can I make any money with $5, charging $5? Well, he has, over time, he's got garnered over 35,000 subscribers, which is bringing him $158,000 a month. So it's not just the John Lee Dumases of the world that's doing that. It can be anybody. It could be everyone could be able to create something and be able to do that. They're on that site. I think I had a link going to that site. Oh, no, let's listen to that site. So on Patreon, they have people that are doing it $5, $10, and there's some and all different types of different podcasts that they can do. So it doesn't have to be. I'll show you. This is some of the listed that the 26 best podcasts that are hosted by women. And when you hear some of these ideas, you'll think like, oh my gosh, I could do that. And I'm just going to scroll down, and you can just see some of them. Some of them are the Coco and Breezy podcast. So they're talking the anecdotes about what it's like to be a woman of color in the fashion industry. So it's a candid discussion. Now, that's not rocket science. This is Dirty Diana. She's starring Demi Moore and created by Shauna Presti. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And they talk about a story of two partners who find their way back to each other from a dying sexless marriage. Nothing major about that. These are the top ones. These are the top 26 podcasters. So for women, so it's come through with Rebecca Carroll. So I guess she's a writer, producer, podcast host, producer, and editor. And she focuses on how race is inextricably linked to issues such as healthcare, jobs, climate change, and the media. See, some of you really are involved in a lot of different things, and you read about things, or you're just got a knack or a hobby of some things. This is what you'd be talking about. She's a comedian, and Nothing Less is new. A podcast honoring the centennial anniversary of women's rights to vote, Unlocking Us. I mean, there's some of them that just talk about comedy. Some of them talk about, there's one of them that's really, really big. These two ladies talk about the Bachelorettes, the Bachelor show. So like who was taught, what they wearing, who did this, who did what. So if there's a show that you are binging on, then talk about that, because that means other people are binging on it as well. And all they do is talk about the Bachelor and the Bachelorettes, like who should be choosing who and should be doing that. And they do really, really well. There's one of them Michelle Obama has a podcast, of course. She have conversations with different family, friends, and colleagues, and digging into topics such as relationships and sibling and raising kids and things like that. So there's so many different ideas. You can just think it can be yourself, it could be somebody else. I'd like to see that if you do it with someone else, it's a lot more fun and it's a lot more accountability. We have a lady here that does one, her, she has called Sexy Pillows. And what she does is that she does it, it's about helping people go to sleep. And she thought it was mostly me for men, but it's a lot of her women that's having problem going to sleep. And she just talks to meditation. She talks very slowly. She talks about her what she did that day to nice music, and she encourages people to stretch. So it's nothing. Again, it's nothing that's heavy duty. Why won't you date me? So it could be this one, the Mueller reports. They talk about that incident, that trial, and they still have a podcast. I mean, I didn't know there was that much to talk about. They still have this podcast as number top podcasts on that. So who has some ideas on podcasts? Who listens to podcasts? I listen. My favorite podcast is How I Built This. And then they talk about different entrepreneurs and different companies that started, how they started. I find that fascinating, being an entrepreneur myself, to hear what people are going through. This podcast will kill you. Who else has on my list? Moms don't have time to read books. So it could be with you, it could be with your girlfriends, it could be with your sisters, it could be with your family. Family matters, stuff mom never told you. It doesn't have to be hard. You can have a different venues. Let's say, for example, you're in the music industry. Let's interview people in the music industry. Let's say, for example, you're in the fashion industry. They introduce people in the fashion industry. If you're in sports, or someone said that she's into the baseball, Cecilia. So introduce people in baseball, and you've got a group for everything. So it's just fascinating. I think just getting the idea and getting started, but it could not be easier. And when you participate in the Power Seven, we actually show you. Well, today I'm going to be able to tell you all the things that you can do. But if you participate in the Power Seven, we'll actually be able to show you exactly what you're able to do, and that makes a big difference. Some answers, yes, 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 yes.
I've got School of Greatness,
Mm-hmm.
Tim Ferriss,
Mm-hmm.
Bigger Pockets, Real Estate Investor Dad Podcast.
Real estate investor dad pocket. Bigger pockets is really big for people in the real estate industry. Real estate investor. They've got some. They've got. Oh, they got so many different ones. Which what other ones that you said they had?
They have Real Estate Investor Dad
Real estate, but all different. There's podcasts on people talk about again anything. There's one. Okay, so I think there was one. I forget if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's like who I effed last night, and there were two girls that are talking about the men that they slept with the night before, and the most ridiculous. They graded them. And so the most ridiculous part of it, they had the men come on the podcast. They were willing to come on the podcast and let these women rate their intimacy level. I mean, how they slept with them. So I mean, like that's like I couldn't believe it. I had to listen to it just to believe that that's actually what they were doing on the podcast. And it was very, very popular. I don't know if it's still on. I haven't looked for it late recently, but that's how real it can be. It's just shock factor is really, really wonderful. And it's just, and it's nothing. It's not something that anyone can't do. So I don't know if Jennifer is in the room as yet. But more ideas for podcasts. So what it is that just being able to. You mentioned that you needed a studio. You don't even have to have a studio. All you have to have is again the mic and the set that we order. But you can find a space. But you can start off with different things that are just like Blog Talk Radio, where you can actually just start interviewing people and start the process. But it's fun and it's easy. And it just has, again, you want to do things that are virtual, that are easy to share. You can put it into your social media. You can put it into your email. You send out hundreds of emails every day. You just kind of put this clip in as an email. You can invite people. It's great for visibility. You can invite people that you may not ever have an opportunity to be able to connect with. It gives you a great way to be able to say, hi, my name is so-and-so. I have this podcast. Do you mind being interviewed on it? Can I interview you? So, it's a great icebreaker. And then from there, you can build a relationship. And many times they will invite you to be on their podcast as well as a result of that. Another thing is that you can, again, if it's celebrities or if it's people in the industry, again, that you can't truly easily access, people will respond to because everybody wants to promote themselves or promote their product or service. And now, again, it's so easy. They don't need to have anything big or complicated. So let me know when Jennifer gets in the room and then I'll have her share. So we're going to take another quick break and give you a chance to share what your podcast idea is and what you would do it. So throughout this week, like today is the only day where it's primarily us and me being able to go through these different segments, the articles, the podcasts, and the videos. Now, starting tomorrow, we'll have panels of ladies. If you remember looking for tomorrow and then the rest of the week, we'll have panels. So we won't have as many breakout sessions. So today is a perfect time for you to really be able to connect with who you're able to connect with. So that you can develop those relationships and work together and connect and be able to go forward. So let's get ready for our breakout sessions, Dawn.
All
And
right. How many minutes do you want it to be?
it was 10 minutes. I'm not looking at the clock, but I think about 10 minutes
All right.
should be.
Okay. And I'm going to make